Hello students, today in this session we will be talking about the another part of life processes. In early class we have discussed about the photosynthesis, okay, that is the autotrophic mode of nutrition, then how photosynthetic activities are regulated in the plants and some of the bacteria also. Today in this part we will be talking about the heterotrophic type of nutrition or heterotrophic type of mode of nutrition, okay. So in the first topic, that is nutrition, in which we are talking about heterotrophic here. So what is meant by heterotrophic? Heterotrophic. See, when it comes to the word heterotrophic, means the organisms which are depending upon other organisms for their nutritional requirement. Okay. So these organisms are maybe the herbivores, okay, or they may be the insects, okay, or even though birds. So different animals or different living organisms, they are depending upon other living organisms for their nutritional requirement, and that can be referred as a heterotrophic. Okay. So on different type of trophic level we are depending. That is heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now heterotrophic mode of nutrition can be seen in three different phases or three different ways. There are three different ways by which this heterotrophic mode of nutrition can be classified. Okay. So one is referred as the Holozoic. Okay. Second is the Saprophytic. And third one is the Parasitic. Okay. Parasitic. So there are three main divisions are there in the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay. So first one is the Holozoic type of mode of nutrition. What do you mean by Holozoic? Holozoic is most probably seen in the living organisms which eat their food material, they grind this food material and then they digest it. Okay. Examples are, it is seen in the animals and amoeba. Okay, it is seen in animals and amoeba. So in animals we see that we generally eat the food material, crush it, then afterward we will swallow and digest it. Okay, so that is the type of nutrition called Holozoic mode of nutrition. Okay, which is commonly seen in the animal, and it is a subtype of heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Then saprophytic. You know saprophytes, these are the group of living organisms which depend upon dead and decaying organic matter. Okay, so most of the living organisms, when they die, okay, their dead material is been taken up by certain group of living organisms. They are called as the saprophytic, and these saprophytes includes fungus, okay, or the fungi are most probably all are saprophytic in nature. They are depending upon the dead and decomposing organic material. Okay, and then parasitic. The parasites in the living world, in humans or in case of other animals, even in case of plants also we can see the parasites are there. Parasites, they require host body for their multiplication, for gamete production, for their reproduction. Okay, so in this way, first of all they get infection to the normal healthy individual, and then from that they will multiply and can cause the diseases again. So the parasites, they are depending upon the living host. Okay, they are opposite to saprophyte. They are living upon, or they are depending upon living host. Living host. So here we can take the example. You know the parasite called Plasmodium, Plasmodium falciparum, which causes the disease called malaria. Okay, so Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, it causes the disease called malaria, right? Now, how this mode of nutrition can be referred as the heterotrophic type of mode of nutrition? Because the parasite falciparum, okay, is infecting to the human body, or even in animals also we can see the malaria, which is caused by some other Plasmodium. Okay, so here the Plasmodium which is infecting humans will cause the disease called malaria. Okay, and it will cause the infection with the help of a vector that is called mosquito, that is female Anopheles mosquito. Okay, so this is the parasite which is present in the salivary gland of the female Anopheles mosquito. It requires nourishment. Okay, so what it will do? It will go and infect, means when the mosquito bites to the healthy human being, at that time it will be injected within the bloodstream, and from bloodstream it will travel or migrate towards the liver, where it will multiply, and after that it will cause the disease, or the symptom of the disease will be occurred in the human body. Okay, in this way they are depending on the living host. Okay, and here saprophytes, they are depending upon the dead and decomposing organic material. And holozoic mode of nutrition can be seen in the animals and the amoeba. In amoeba, see, amoeba is a single cell. Okay, in single cell there are, suppose this is a single cell. Okay, and there are certain structures which are responsible for digesting the food material. Okay, so these structures, what they do, they allow the food material to ingest inside. Okay, after ingesting the food, they will start to what we say, decompose it. Okay, decompose in the sense they will start to digest this with the help of certain enzymes, and these enzymes are secreted by the amoeba itself. Here, in case of animals, it requires a sequential step. Okay, it is a multi-step reaction, that is the digestion, process of digestion. So let's see the example in case of animals now, how the process of digestion takes place. So human digestive system consists of different organs. Okay, because there are different organs which are associated with the digestion of food material. In case of amoeba, a single cell is capable of digesting the food material. Okay, if we talk about the structures which are related to the digestion process, okay, or the holozoic type of nutrition, includes the 5 different stages. We will write here holozoic nutrition. Okay, so it includes the digestion in the humans. Okay, and how this digestion takes place? It takes place by the 5 steps. That is, the first one is ingestion. Ingestion means taking the food inside the buccal cavity. Okay, then second we have the digestion, that is transfer of ingested food material to the stomach. Then within the stomach there will be secretion of the hydrochloric acid, which will digest the food material, that is complex food material will be digested here. After digestion, the main function is there, that is the absorption. So absorption, what does it mean? In the stomach, after stomach we have the intestine, right? So within intestine there are certain such structures which are responsible for absorption of the food material, and this absorbed food material, okay, will be taken to the different cells with the help of blood vessels. Okay, where it will be assimilated, that is called assimilation. That is the process which is taking place after the absorption. After assimilation, the remain food material which is not been digested, basically that food material will pass from the small intestine to large intestine. Okay, and it will be excreted outside the body through the anus, that is called excretion. So these are the 5 main processes which are involved in the holozoic mode of nutrition. Okay, now let's discuss about how these processes take place within the human body. Okay, now we'll discuss about it with the help of certain structures. Now what are the structures involved in this process? Let's make a list of the structures. Okay, so here you can give another heading, structures. Okay, structures involved. So structure like we have mouth, then we have the buccal cavity. Within buccal cavity, we will be discussing about the tongue, teeth, and palate. Then after that we have esophagus. Then fourth we have the stomach. Then we have the what we say, digestive glands. Okay, see, in the process of digestion, two more glands are also involved, like the liver and the pancreas, which help in the secretion of certain digestive juices, which will break down the complex food material. Like our food consists of carbohydrates, different types of nutrients are there, carbohydrates are there, proteins are there, vitamins are there, minerals are there. All these nutrients will be broken down into simple substances so that our body will assimilate it, and from that we can produce the energy, okay, to perform the work. So that is the digestive glands. Digestive glands. Okay. Then next we have the intestine. Now intestine consists of two parts, that is the small and large. Small intestine is there, large intestine is there. We will discuss about it. Then next to that is the excretion, or the, you can see, anus. Through anus the excretion will be done. So these are the different organs or the different structures which are associated with the digestion process, and these structures, they form the alimentary canal of the human body. Okay, now let's see how the alimentary canal looks like. I'll rub these names. I hope all you can see this. So let's assume this is the structure of human. Okay. So the main first part here is the mouth, okay, and the mouth, it opens into a cavity, large cavity, that is called buccal cavity. Within the buccal cavity we have different parts, like on the upper part of the buccal cavity we have a roof. Okay, the roof, it consists of certain ridges that help us to hold the food material. It help us to grip, to form a grip over the food material. Then at the distal part or the end part of this what we say wall, there is a small tongue like filament or structure is there. You can open your buccal mouth as well as you can see in the mirror. So the small tongue like structure will be there here. That structure is called uvula. It is just below, okay, the ear pinna. So here the ear will be there, okay, here, and there will be formation of a gland also here. We will discuss about it. So this is the uvula. This structure is called the palate. Okay, then this is the nostril. Okay, and this part is called mouth. So within the buccal cavity we can also see there will be formation of the floor, and that floor consists of here the jaw socket where the teeth are present. This is called jaw socket. Okay, again, not only in the basal part of the or from the lower jaw there will be presence of a jaw socket in the upper jaw also. Okay, in between this there will be presence of a tongue which is acting as a floor. Okay, it can be referred as the tongue. That is the floor of buccal cavity. Now this part, it is been forming a kind of funnel shaped structure, okay, here like this, This funnel shaped structure will be referred as the here pharynx. Okay, pharynx also has three main parts. Okay, nasopharynx, then oropharynx and laryngopharynx, means the part which is coming from the nasal chamber, that is nasopharynx, the part which is opening from the oral cavity or the buccal cavity called oropharynx, and the part which is connected to the larynx, that means sound box over here, that is called laryngopharynx. Okay, now the pharynx, to next to pharynx, the larynx will be there from the anterior part which is acting as a vocal cord. Then this long tube, okay, will be referred as the esophagus. Okay, it is a long tube called esophagus. Okay, and this esophagus opens into the stomach. Okay, it opens into the stomach. See here, such a structure is there. Okay, it will help you to understand the process of digestion. See, okay, now it will continue into the small intestinal part. You know, the small intestine, it is highly looped or highly complex type of structures are there. Okay, so you can also see in the textbook, you will find the complex structures are there. A network is formed which is completely composed of the intestine. Okay, so here we will call this is a small intestine. Okay, so this part of the intestine is referred as the duodenum. Sorry, duodenum. It is called as the duodenum. Okay, then the part which is next to the duodenum is referred as the jejunum. And the part which opens into the large intestine, see, this is the part called small intestine. Okay, and the part which opens into large intestine, this part is referred as the ileum. Okay, that is the part of small intestine. It opens into the colon. Okay, it opens into the colon. It is a bulb shaped structure. Okay, to which there will be attachment of a small filamentous structure called appendix. You know, in our body, appendix is there, which is called vermiform appendix. It is a vestigial organ. Okay, so this intestine, small intestine, is opening into colon. And the colon, okay, it is been having the three main parts, that is the ascending colon, descending colon and transverse colon. Okay, so here this colon is nothing but a part of large intestine. Okay, so here you can see this. Okay, so there will be again formation of the liver, which is situated here itself. Okay, so you can see the large intestine. So this part, okay, So here you can see these are the different parts of the human digestive system. Okay, first that is mouth. Here we'll note down the mouth. Okay, then next to the mouth is the buccal cavity. Okay, this part comes under buccal cavity here. Second is the buccal cavity. Now jaw socket comes under buccal cavity. Okay, then palate is also coming under buccal cavity. Then next to that is the esophagus, that is a long tube. Okay, a pokri-mokri cavity is there. So that cavity is known for swallowing the food material inside the stomach. This is the stomach. Stomach has the three different parts. First, this region is referred as the fundus. This region is referred as the cardiac. And this region is referred as the pyloric. Okay, and here there is a sphincter through which the pyloric part of the stomach ends into the intestine. This is the C-shaped duodenum which opens into a large convoluted structure called jejunum, and this jejunum ends into the small distal part called ileum which opens into colon. This structure is called colon. Okay, so this is the ascending colon. This is the here, it is just hidden behind the stomach, so there is a transverse colon here. Okay, transverse colon. And this is the descending colon. Okay, and it stores the undigested food material into the rectum, and this is the anus through which the undigested food material is been withdrawn. So students, see here, these are the different parts. One part is also remaining over here, that is the pancreas. Okay, pancreas are generally leaf structured organs which are associated, and these are not present in the small intestine, they are present just behind. Okay, not just behind, also slightly upper and behind part of the stomach. Okay, so here there will be formation of a gallbladder, and this gallbladder has a kind of tubular structure. This tubular structure opens into the small intestine. Okay, and this both the structure, that is liver and pancreas, they open through a common kind of opening. Okay, that is called sphincter of Oddi. Okay, sphincter of Oddi. So here, and that is the hepatopancreatic duct. Now let us see the different names and study their functions. So here the first part, that is the mouth. Okay, mouth is a slight opening through which the food is taken inside the body. Then inside the buccal cavity, within the buccal cavity, it consists of a roof. That roof is called palate. Okay, which help us to hold the grip over the food material. Posterior part of the palate is consisting of the small kind of structure that is called the uvula. It is a tongue-like structure. It also helps in the swallowing food material. Then next to that is the floor of the buccal cavity consists of tongue. Okay, and on the side of the tongue there will be presence of the jaw socket where teeth are placed. Okay, where the teeth are placed. Now the food which is been taken inside the buccal cavity will be chewed with the help of different types of teeth. Okay, and these teeth, when they are chewing the food material, they will grind it and convert it into bolus. That bolus is nothing but a mixed with the saliva. Okay, now saliva also digests the food material partially, as it consists of some enzymes like alpha amylase. And the salivary glands are located in three different regions: below the ear pinna, okay, then in the mandible, that is the lower jaw, okay, and here below the tongue also. So there are three different locations of the salivary glands which will release the saliva for the digestion of the food material partially. Okay, so the enzyme which is secreted by the salivary gland is the alpha amylase. Okay, converts the carbohydrate into simple type of sugar. Now, the food which has been taken, it will enter into esophagus. Through esophagus, it will open into the stomach. Okay. Now, within the stomach, there is a presence of digestive juices. Okay, like hydrochloric acid, which has been secreted by cells. Three different types of cells will be seen here. Okay, oxyntic cells, neck cells, and the parietal cells, which will secrete the mucus, which will secrete the hydrochloric acid, which will also secrete the enzyme which will neutralize the acidic food material. After that, food will enter into the small intestine, that is the C-shaped part called duodenum, where the secretion of pancreas, okay, we will label it pancreas, and this will be the liver. Okay, so liver basically it secretes the two types of components, that is called as the one is called as the bile pigment. Okay, bile juice will be secreted by the liver, and that bile juice consists of bilirubin and biliverdin. These are the two pigments which are present within the liver. Then pancreas are responsible for secreting the hormone, that is insulin and the glucagon, which are responsible for regulating the blood glucose level or the sugar level of the body. The next, apart from this, they will also secrete certain enzymes like nucleases, proteases, then peptidases, okay, etc. These enzymes will digest the complex food material, okay, and they will break down. And where they are added here in the duodenum part of the small intestine with the help of a common duct. Okay, the secretion of the liver will be stored in the gallbladder, and from the pancreas it will be taken up to the sphincter of Oddi, okay, through a common duct called hepatopancreatic duct. So this hepatopancreatic duct opens into the small intestine, and from small intestine the food will be taken in this region where there will be presence of a microvilli. So microvilli are the cells. See, in the last chapter we have discussed in the tissue, there are certain cells which are having the brush like borders or finger like projection called brush bordered columnar epithelium. Okay, so this columnar epithelium, what they do, they help in the absorption of food. So food will be absorbed over here. After absorption, what happens? The food which is absorbed, and this food is simple food as it is treated with number of enzymes. So it will be absorbed as amino acid, it will be absorbed as simple sugars, it will be absorbed as the glycerides, that is the lipid molecules. Okay, so in this way it will be absorbed and assimilated. Assimilated means, see, intestine doesn't have the blood cells or the blood capillary, okay, but adjacent to them or the cells which are present here, they don't have the blood capillary, but adjacent to these cells there will be formation of blood capillary. So food will be diffused. Okay, diffusion means that is movement of molecule from a higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So it will be diffused. Okay, so that diffusion will lead to the mixing of the nutrient within the blood, and the blood will carry all the nutrient to the various different organs where number of cells are present, and this number of cells will help in the digestion of the food material. Okay, that means digestion means complete breakdown will be there and formation of energy. So what we can do any kind of activity. Okay, so here that is the small intestine. Then another part of the small intestine is the jejunum, where all this process is taking place, and afterward the undigested food material will be moved to the ileum part, and from ileum it will open into the colon, and within the colon there will be presence of a bacteria. Certain bacteria are there, these are called Escherichia coli. These are the symbiotic bacteria which are responsible for conversion of the undigested food material, okay, into the excretory substance. So here the food along with this ascending colon moves into the transverse colon, where little amount of water will be added to it and mucus will be added, so that the excretory material will not be remaining hard, okay, so it can smoothly remove outside the body. This is the descending colon. Okay, from descending colon it will move into the rectum, where it will be stored, and when pressure is exerted by the stomach into this rectum, it will be excreted outside the body. So in this way the holozoic mode of nutrition takes place in the animals. Now in the next part we'll be talking about the respiratory system, okay, and some of the examples of the cellular respiration, okay. Thank you. सर, ओ सर, हो गया। एक और बना लूं क्या आगे का? कंटिन्यू रहता है क्या ये?